Hello everybody, Kinja427 here with another Backpack Hero tier list. This one is slightly more relevant than the Relic tier list, considering this is the latest version of Curses, while all the relics have been changed pretty much entirely from the last video. Anyway, again, this video is about curses. We all hate them, but each curse is different. Some I skip and just deal with the missing item pick. Others, just take them. They have no real downsides or can be easily worked around. This video will hopefully help you in your endeavors to explore the dungeon and deal with these terrible curses. Now, this is just for Purse and the 16 curses that she deals with. There are several character exclusive curses. Tote has 6 curses to herself that I'm pretty sure no one else has. But if I go over here to Purse and Curse, you'll see 16 curses. These are the Beast Ring, the Blood Bow, the Blood Wand, the Cursed Shield, Evil Hand, Homework, Insidious Buckler, Joker Cleaver, Kotoribako, Living Rock, Matryoshka, Possessed Pot, Red Ribbon Rapier, Shackle, Soul Axe, and Spiky Crown. Now, I am not going to be talking about any other character or their curses in this video. This is purely focused on Purse. Every character plays different, and I really only have a lot of experience with Purse right now, so I feel comfortable talking about Purse and her curses and how they affect her builds. No one else. For instance, the Shackle. I find to be much better on Purse than someone like Satchel, since he deals with a lot of music and non-damaging items. So Exhaust, which removes an energy from you, that's going to impact him much more than the 5 Rage would help someone like Purse. Before we get on to the tier list though, let's go over the 5 main ways to get rid of curses. This is the first method, destroying the cursed item. Here, I am using the Evil Hand to destroy a Kotoribako, but it can work with other items like dynamite. I just had an Evil Hand on hand. At the start of the fight, the Evil Hand will activate, and that will happen. The Kotoribako is destroyed and no longer follows me. The second method is rerolling combat loot using dice. The Matryoshka here is still cursed, the hand though is cleansed to show what that looks like in comparison. Now, dice are common, so this is easy to pull off. I just hit this alternate use button, and the curse is gone. Just like that. Now for the third method of removing curses. This one is the most accessible. All you do is, after every boss fight, there is a healer. You just go over to them and select the Cleanse All Curses button. And just like that, all curses in your backpack and following you have been cleansed. I can toss this Joker Cleaver and this Evil Hand with no repercussions whatsoever. Now for the fourth method, trading the cursed item away. I'm using this save for multiple curse explanations just because I like this save and it's really handy. But you can just trade curses away to the Shady Trader or to Chester, the Size Matters guy. The benefit of doing this is that you'll get random items from this. Like here, I got a lucky star. Hooray! Finally, we have the most obvious way of dealing with curses. Using a lantern or little lamp, hitting the alternate use button, and then cleansing the curse automatically. When you're done, you can just hit deselect and move on. You can use this item, specifically the lantern, without counting as a shop buy or loot selection. So, yeah, that's interesting to know. Now that we know how to remove curses, let's start with the tier list. The bottom tier is the Do Not Take tier, containing 2 items. Coming in at 16th place, the worst curse in my opinion, is the Possessed Pot. Now, let's go over what makes this curse so bad. First, its size. It is a 4-space curse. That's big, and I don't like big curses. Second, its effect is unavoidable. Curses have 2 main types, avoidable and unavoidable. The curse effect here is to create noxious fumes at the end of your turn. These 1x1 hazards are free to remove in terms of energy, but give 4 poison on removal. And if you don't remove them, anytime you use an item in the row of the fumes, you get 1 poison. Now, poison is my least favorite debuff as it ignores shield, or block, or whatever it's called. The upside of the pot is not even that good. You can spend 1 energy to get 1 potion once per turn. Potions kinda suck. They have their uses, sure, but it's very easy to go the entire game without using them. I will never take this pot. Up next in 15th place, also in the do not take tier, it's the Kotoribako. This 1x2 space curse has destruction as its upside. Its curse effect is that it deals 2 damage to you at the end of your turn until you sacrifice at least 1 item to it. Luckily, you only need to sacrifice 1 item per combat to avoid damage, making this effect avoidable. But still, considering it has no real positive upside, there is no reason to take this thing, even if you like destruction, as this can only be used once per combat, and there are much better destruction options in this curse list. We are now leaving the do not take tier and are entering the medium tier. These are curses I will take over the missing loot pick, but I will want to destroy these as soon as possible. Coming up in 14th place, we have the Insidious Buckler. This tiny shield gives 6 block for 1 energy, but if you take health damage, it makes the problem worse by giving you 2 poison, so you take even more damage. The only reason it is in the medium tier is because of its small size of 1 space. Space is valuable, as you will see by some of my other picks in this list. In 13th place, still in the medium tier, we have the Soul Axe. This 5-space curse is the largest in the game. It is a weapon that deals 10 damage for 1 energy, so long as you have not used an item adjacent to the axe this turn. Sounds good, right? It also doesn't have a downside that actually hurts you. So why is it this low? Well, a lot of that comes from the fact that it is 5 spaces. That is a lot. But for comparison, you can have your starter wooden sword buffed by 2 gems, and more than likely it will deal more damage than the axe. And those gems would buff other weapons. However, as I said before, it does not have a downside that actually hurts you, so you can take this axe, but why would you? For 12th place, the last curse I don't actually like having in my inventory is the Cursed Shield. This 4-space shield costs 1 energy to use and gives you 10 block, while giving all of your enemies 1 dodge. The 4-space size is the only reason it's in this tier and not the easy curse tier. It's an item you should never use unless you have shivs to waste the dodges. There are workarounds to the curse effect, but they take up way too much space to make it viable for me to use. 9th place will go to the Red Ribbon Rapier. This 3-space curse works like a form of the Berserker's Club, except it is disabled as soon as you lose health. I need to clarify this, not shield, health. This weapon, for 1 energy, deals 10 damage to your enemies and 3 to yourself. And as you can also see, buffing its attack also buffs the self-damage aspect, so keep that in mind. This textbook double-edged sword, probably a more fitting name, but that would require an artwork change. It deals good damage for the early game, while being smaller than the Soul Axe. Now what I like about this is that it is only 3 spaces lost if you choose not to use this. making it less of a big deal than the Cursed Shield or Soul Axe. Are they close? Yes. Am I biased? Yes. Is this my list? Yes. But I can also go with easy builds that make use of the rapier, like this one here. But as you can see, it is also incredibly easy to miscount damage, so it is always good to have a backup plan. Scratch only deals 3 damage, but luckily, here I have the wooden knife. Coming in at 8th place, we have a bit of an oddity. The Blood Bow. This bow basically does what the Hawkeye bow does, but it costs 2 energy to do what that bow does in 1. It turns around every time you use it. It's kinda useless for most runs, considering archery builds are not great. It's the Blood Bow. There's not much to say on it. It takes 3 spaces and is a worse version of a legendary item. If that interests you, give it a shot. It doesn't hurt to use. Up next, in 7th place, we have the Matryoshka. Now, this curse I can't really show off in combat because it won't do anything. Because of this glove here. Or gauntlet, rather. The thing that makes the Matryoshka potentially terrifying is that it can duplicate itself by spreading to adjacent empty spaces. Just put it in a corner and surround it with junk, and it'll do nothing. Plus, if you have the Emerald Bracelet, which gives energy for adjacent curses, hey, here's a curse you can use. I do think there are better options than this, though. Up next, in 6th place, is the Homework. And here, this is the main method of dealing with the Homework. Just don't place it next to a mana network. It's not connected to anything. It can't do anything. It is that useless. Honestly, it's a fun idea. It just, again, it's not connected to anything. This is the optimal way of using it. Yeah, I don't know what you expected. There's, again, absolutely no reason to hook this thing up to your mana network. Now in 5th place, leaving the easy to deal with tier and entering the actually useful tier, we have the Joker Cleaver. This cursed variant of the Jack Cleaver, in that it is a 2 energy cost, 7 damage weapon that activates the cleaver it's pointed at, turns 90 degrees clockwise every time it's used. This may sound like a downside, but remember, normal cleavers deal 4 damage and do not affect nearby cleavers. So like the spades, the suits in general, and the normal cleavers and gold, those don't affect nearby cleavers. So when you look at it like that, the Joker is better, even if it only occasionally hits another cleaver. It's an easy way to basically get 7 extra damage, even with a non-optimized cleaver build, using the simple setup shown here. Although, it is very important to note that the Tusk relic will remove the Joker from your backpack when it gets used, as the Tusk does not let you rotate items. This combat doesn't have a great cleaver setup, but that makes any extra damage the Joker can give very important. My placings for things have changed a lot while writing this list. Originally, the Living Rock was in 2nd. It's a worse version of the machete. This 1 item space moves every turn. If it can move, it deals 3 damage to all enemies for free. If it can't move, you take 5 damage. Only the dealing damage to enemies is affected by rage. Fortunately, you can also move the rock for 1 energy. That makes it worse than the machete, but it's still pretty good in terms of damage per energy. There isn't much to show off here. Now in 5th place, it's the Blood Wand. This item is very simple to use. For the first turn, you don't! That's its entire gimmick. It's a stronger electrical wand, dealing 7 damage for 1 mana, as compared to the electrical wand's 5 per mana. But you can't use it on turn 1. If you aren't using a dedicated magic build, it still might be worth picking up, since it can be used as free projectile damage to help deal with spikes. Now, sure, again, you can't use it on turn 1, but after that first turn, this can happen. Just watch this damage. And that is why I placed this wand in 3rd place. I wish I realized its usefulness earlier. Good job for the bronze cursed wand. Now let's see the silver. In 2nd place, my original favorite curse is the Shackle. You lose 1 energy after the first turn due to exhaust, but you start combat with 5 rage. Rage is a big deal in this game, and losing 1 energy to start combat with 5 rage can be the difference between life and death in some battles. Let's run through some numbers here. With a wooden sword and no energy buffs, you deal 36 damage on turn 1, 22 on turn 2, 20 on turn 3, 18 on turn 4, 16 on turn 5, and 14 from turn 6 onward. Comparing that to the standard 21 damage per turn you get without the Shackle, you get 21 extra damage over 5 turns using the Shackle. I like the Shackle, that should be obvious, but a certain other curse managed to impress me with potential I had ignored, and left Shackle with only the silver medal. And finally, the winner! An item I originally placed at the bottom of the easy tier. It is the Evil Hand. This boss fight shows why. I had to use every trick at my disposal to win this one, and even so, it was certainly a close thing. The only reason I won is due to the Cursed Hand Matryoshka combo you've seen a few times here. This combo gives 4 rage per turn, which is an insane amount of rage for basically free. The Evil Hand was originally placed at the bottom of easy tier because if you don't want to deal with it, you could just rotate it to face a wall and it does nothing. I saw that, figured, good enough, and just ignored it. But then I realized just how powerful it is with the Matryoshka. So, while this Farseer dies from 1,000 cleaver cuts, let's go over the tier list one last time. In the Do Not Take tier, we have the Cursed Pot at 16th place and the Kotoribako at 15th. In the medium tier, the You Can Take Them But Really Shouldn't, we have the Insidious Buckler at 14th, the Soul Axe at 13th, the Cursed Shield at 12th, and the Beast Ring at 11th. In the Easy to Deal With tier, we have the Spiky Crown at 10th place, the Red Ribbon Rapier at 9th, the Blood Bow at 8th, the Homework, definitely the most forgettable curse in this list, at 7th, the Matryoshka at 6th. And now, entering the Useful tier, we have the Joker Cleaver at 5th place, the Living Rock at 4th, the Blood Wand taking bronze at 3rd place, the Shackle at 2nd place getting silver, and the MVP of this fight, the Evil Hand getting gold. I'm Kinja427, thank you for watching, and I hope this will help you explore the dungeon. This boss fight is going to take a while. Halfway through the video clip. So let me just talk about my final thoughts here. This video was definitely different from my standard improv. I kind of like this. No real worrying about having to be funny in the moment because I just have a script to follow. I do all of my thinking ahead of time and not while things are happening. I think this is much better than my last tier list, although a relic tier list is a project that will come eventually. I first need to finish off the curse tier list, one for every character, before I can even consider a relic tier list. So hopefully the relic tier list will be done this year. Hopefully. I haven't even gotten all of Purse's relics unlocked somehow. I'm still missing one. But I'm Kinja47. This boss is almost dead. One turn more, I believe. There it goes. If you have enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, share this video with a friend. This took a lot more work than I thought going into it. I'm Kinja427. I will see you guys in the next video talking about Shackle's curse tier list. Bye!